This walk-in book is made up of covers of various editions of the book Fahrenheit 451. If you haven't read Fahrenheit 451 yet, I highly recommend it. It's a short, easy read and really profound in a lot of its both human and societal issues that it tackles. Yes. Interestingly, when Bradbury wrote the book Fahrenheit 451, he saw it more as an indictment of television and did not necessarily see it as a book about censorship and intellectual freedom, which is what it has been really taken as and has really become a symbol for in today's society. Alright, the walk-in book was created by one of our top volunteers, Daisyblue Hefferman, and here's Daisy herself, and I am going to turn you guys over to her to explain the book.
Well, I was asked to do this part of the island, and I chose the 451 book to do. And my building partner is a scripter, so he said, Daisy, how about if I make the scripts and we do it as a hollow-res book? And I said, great. So that's what we did. The main idea is we walk through the big book and go into the frame down behind it.
The novel, Fahrenheit 451, named for the burning point of paper, features a dystopian society, so termed because the condition of life is extremely grim, especially from oppression. It takes place in approximately the 24th century. Bradbury's state has decreed conformity for all, and attempts to keep people content with that by controlling everything they hear, think, see, feel, and learn. It's a place where people are drugged, either by actual self-administered drugs or by the state-controlled media that has taken over their lives, waking or sleeping, and become their family. The novel also hints at the threat of an impending worldwide nuclear war. Guy Montag, the novel's protagonist, works as a fireman. Since all buildings are coated with a fireproof layer, the job of fireman has evolved into burning the forbidden books, not putting out fires. For all books are forbidden now, books whose words allow people to think, to question the status quo, which is not permitted nor desired by the controlling state. Montag is so far content with his job, his satisfying occupation for 12 years now. He enjoys going out on book-burning calls in the yellow salamander fire trucks. Also in the firehouse lurks one of the imposing mechanical hounds, programmed to catch criminals by scent, and then immobilizing their prey with hypodermic needles held in their mouths. For this next scene, please look outside the front door of the house. Exiting the subway ride from work one day, he meets a young neighbor, Clarice McClellan. She asks disturbing questions of him, such as, "Are you happy? Do you read the books you burn?" She studies nature and actually sits and carries on real conversations with her family, unheard of and unwanted in this society. She makes him think and question his life. Please enter the Montag house now. Clarice has made an impression. Guy now has reservations about his purpose in life. He steals a book instead of burning it. Finding his wife, Mildred, has taken an overdose, he sees she is not happy as she claims to be with her shallow, empty life. He tries to talk to her, share some of the book with her, but she refuses to give up the only life she is comfortable with. She lives only for their 3 TV walls, whose constant barrage of images and sound only upset Montag more. Her one desire is for them to be able to afford a TV for the 4th wall. He further disturbs her when he attempts to read to some of her visiting friends, also upsetting them. Captain Beatty, his boss, seems to know about the book Montag has hidden, and orders him to hand it over for burning. One call the firehouse receives sends him to the house of an old lady, a book hoarder turned in by a neighbor. Refusing to leave her house before it is burned, she instead lights the fire herself rather than abandon her books. Her death disturbs Montag as he's never been disturbed before. By now he has collected several more books and hidden them. He visits an ex-English teacher, Professor Faber, who offers insight into the pages Montag reads, and help standing up to Captain Beatty. At the firehouse, the mechanical hound seems to sense Montag's disaffection and acts threatening towards him. They receive yet another call of books to burn. Montag soon realizes this call is to go to his own house. Arriving, he sees Mildred, carrying a heavy suitcase, walk past him into a waiting taxi, leaving him. She must have turned him in for having those books. His house is dark. Their 3 TV walls finally silent. Beatty forces him to set fire to his own house. When Beatty also threatens Professor Faber, Montag is forced to kill him. When attacked by the mechanical hound, who partially anesthetizes him, Montag manages to destroy it. Now he's forced to become a fugitive. Faber tells him safety may be found out of the city. Montag eludes another hound sent after him and escapes to the river. He follows it far from the manhunt, searching for him. Finally reaching the safety of the countryside, Guy encounters a group of men camping in a clearing. They recognize him, for they followed his plight on a small TV. But they also welcome him, knowing he shares their way of thinking. Granger, the leader, tells Montag about the network of people all over who have each memorized and become one of the books Montag used to destroy. In this way, they hope to keep the stories and ideas alive, passing them from generation to generation until such time as the world is ready to accept their worth again. Granger introduces each man in turn by his book name. Montag agrees to join them, to hide with him and be exiled for life. But as they prepare to move on, the war breaks out as planes rush to attack their city in the distance. They watch sadly as it is destroyed, along with everyone they knew there, including Millie Montag. As the book ends, we see them turning to go back to the city where their help is now needed. For further thought, what book would you choose to become?
The Alliance Library System received a grant from their state library, who in turn got it from the National Endowment for the Arts, to celebrate the big read. And Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 was the chosen book for that program this year. They asked me to build something, in terms of the book. My building partner, Krull Aeon, is also a scripter, and he suggested that if I build it, he would make the scripts for me, and we could hollow-res it and try it that way, and I jumped at it. So that's what I did. I chose some representative scenes. I built them completely because I didn't know if it would take purchased things or not, if the system would work. And I wrote the summary. Gilbert Sapwood, who in real life is Dale Gilbert Jarvis, a real-life storyteller, offered to take the summary, and I jumped at that because his voice is marvelous. So we put it together, and people are enjoying it, and that's what it's for.